excited. We're going to go take some old-timey photos today. We're going to learn about tintype.
Are those black and white photos like our mamaw used to take?
Your great-great-mamaw.
Oh, no Snapchat filters.
No filters. What's old is new again, at least when it comes to photography. And we are at a very unique studio here in Lexington that does tintype photos. We got Mark Cornelison here. Thank you for having us out here.
Thanks for coming. I like to share the news, let everybody know it's here.
That's right. So this is a very unique form of photography, tintype. Tell us about it.
Well, it's the second type of photography ever. So the first type was called daguerreotype. It was super dangerous. I looked into trying it first, but I went ahead and bypassed it to go. I went to the second level. But daguerreotype, you had to expose a liquid heated mercury to a piece of copper, and exposures were 6 to 8 hours for one picture. So anyway, jump ahead to this. This is the way pictures were done in the 1800s, Civil War. All the pictures you've ever seen of Abraham Lincoln shot this way. Originally, they were all shot on glass, which is called an ambrotype. But what was happening was Civil War soldiers were wanting to mail their pictures home, and they weren't making it because they were on the Pony Express or however they were trying to get them home, they were breaking. So a man named Frederick Archer came along in 1851, figured out a way to put it on metal. And that was the way all pictures were taken for about almost the next 40 years until film was invented.
Wow.
This is so fascinating.
Yeah.
But photography is not new for you in general. You've been doing it for a while. Tell everybody what your background is.
Well, I worked at a couple papers through the years, but I was at the Herald Leader for 25 years after I got out of school down to EKU. EKU is where I was exposed to all this old stuff, which I carry with me. I want to give credit to my teachers from back there. But yeah, I've always loved doing it. When I started the Herald Leader, we were still in the film days. You know, it was in the 90s.
Oh, yeah.
And then we went to the digital cameras, and there was autofocus all came along in about 2000. And so I've seen a lot of the different changes through the years and hated some of them and, adapted to others. But even in my years at the Herald Leader, every now and then, if there was something special, I thought, I'm going to go take my film camera. And I've got one of my old film cameras like I learned at Eastern with. And I would take it to photograph portraits of athletes or basically people who interested me. Mm-hmm. I was telling the guys earlier that sometimes I'd go to photograph somebody and somebody'd say, oh, did you bring that old camera? I was like, no. It just got undeserved yet,
Because it's labor intensive.
It is very labor intensive and kind of expensive. I was doing a lot of that on my own dime. Of course, back at the paper, I could develop them myself in the darkroom. But after you get away from that atmosphere, you're like, oh, now where do I process this stuff?
It's such a unique kind of thing in this digital age where we take photos, but then we never print them out.
Right.
I know Lee and I have several thousands on our phones. So this is actually something tangible that people can take with them.
Absolutely. And I even tell my friends now, they're probably tired of it, but I'm like, look, if you have a picture on your phone that means something to you, you got to output it and make a print and throw it in a shoebox, write a name on the back, because it's not for you, it's for whoever's coming later.
Right, that's right.
Well, I think this is such a romantic thing to do with your partner. We're going to do it tonight.
Yeah.
It's very
That's
romantic
awesome.
for us. Yeah. But who are some of your clients? Who are some of the top people that you photographed?
Well, somebody asked me once if I only did celebrities, and of course that's not true. But I being at the paper for so long, I was obviously exposed to a lot of cool people. So, one of the first people I did on this was, if you've ever watched Seinfeld back in the day,
Oh, yeah.
Actual Jay Peterman lives here in town.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
So I've been trying to photograph him for a long time, but I never had contact with him. The store wasn't there anymore and whatnot. But after I learned this, I finally found the way to get hold of him. And he came over one day and we did a few photos. And he goes, well, what else are you up to? And I said, just like 2 weeks ago, I learned a new process. You want to step in the garage. So we went in the garage and he said, I've only got about a half hour because I got to meet my wife. And then 3 hours later, we're still in the garage because he was so blown away. He's like, oh my God, he's like, you just made this in your garage, And so we just kept shooting, and that was really cool. And we got out of there that day, and he goes, you need to call me once a week. I want to know what's going on. So,
So somebody wants to come in and be a celebrity here in your studio. How do they schedule an appointment with you?
Well, I'm doing it by appointment.
Okay.
So I've had pretty good luck so far working it around people's schedules. But obviously evenings, later afternoon, evenings, and weekends are when most of them have been doing. But CornelisonTintypes.com is my website.
Okay.
And it's also the same on Instagram.
Well, I think this is a perfect Valentine's Day gift. And you said you might also be open the day after, so it's important for people to call ahead and get an appointment.
Yeah, if they want to call or email me, I've had several people ask about whether or not I was open Valentine's weekend, and Friday being date night. They've asked about Saturday, so I just decided I think I'm going to open up for a good part of the day, depending on who wants to come, you know, and be available on that Saturday.
Well, we've also learned that there's no filters in this, so you're going to have to go easy on Tam and I.
Yes.
Can't wait to see how this
Can we
works.
put a little Vaseline on this lens?
You know, the lenses were different back then, so there's a lot of new photographers would probably think, what's wrong with your lens? But you know, there's a fall off toward the edges where things start to go a little out of focus. But and they did use Vaseline as a technique in some eras. But I like to, you know, the whole thing is, to me, is about keeping it pure. Keeping it real. I was trying not to have a sound bite there, but you know, I appreciate everything being the way it's supposed to be.
Well, it's not for everybody, but we're
That's
so
true.
glad that you're bringing back this art form.
Well, thanks.
And if you want to schedule an appointment, come on down, check out his website, and have a realistic photo of yourself preserved forever.
About 175 years.
Perfect.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So what'd you think?
I think we're gorgeous. We look great in black and white.
All right, there's information for I can't say that right. Cornelison Tintypes. There we go, we got it out.
Better you than me.
Here's the finished product. So.
Yes, these are amazing.
Yeah.
Check these out. And we have Allison's too. These are a keepsake that will last you for 150 years.
That's what he said.
Yeah.